All right, world, here we go. So we got the tough step, men and their emotions. Me and Jaris Tucker, and today we have Carl Shawn Watkins joining us. Our good friend, everybody's friend, known by everyone, has the daily word. He's Mr. Inspiration on a daily basis, and I'm honored to call him a friend.
Yes, man. Definitely honored. Definitely glad to be here with you guys. Just trying to step up my game, man. I know we always have some good conversations, so I'm looking forward to that tonight, man, and see where it takes us. It's some insight into the two minds of Jaris. He's already got the thinker at work and the connected consultant. What more can I say about that, right?
Wonderful combination, right? Thanks
Right.
again for coming on.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. No problem at all.
So what's up, Mike?
Not much, man. It's been a busy couple days, man. This week's been nuts already.
Right, just Tuesday.
I know. Just trying to get everybody back in the scheme of things and moving forward again and getting people back in school and just trying to get some stuff done, just being busy. Just been really busy lately. So that's a good thing, though. I mean, there's definitely worse things to be than busy. So
other than that, you all right? Just getting started, checking on you first. Then we
I'm
to Carl next.
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. I'm hanging in there. I got some sleep, I got a lot of extra sleep last night. I'm doing all right.
What's up with you, Carl?
Everything's good, man. I get a few things I know you guys know, and just working on some things with the client. I'm getting a refurbish of my website. I got a lady working on that, and she's like awesome, man. So I got some events coming up to kind of push the business, but I really just been making my rounds of just with this vulnerability, man. I can't leave this topic, and it's just one of those things where it's so many avenues that you can delve into it. That it's just something that we've got to be talking about. Like we can't push it to the side no more. So, but other than that, man, I'm just enjoying it, man. Enjoying what's going on, taking it all in, being observant, and watching people grow. Really, that's really what I'm doing.
Yeah, me too. Anything you got special on your mind, Mike?
No, I'm all right. I'm just watching my 3-year-old deliver me pieces of popcorn at a time. Hey, Annie. Hey, G. Hey, Kenny. Hey, Jen.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, it's I think I was talking to you guys before we started. We had the assignment where we had to listen to the openness statements of the George Floyd, or the Chauvin trial. It's not really George Floyd trial, but Chauvin is the one that's on trial. And I was just listening to some harsh realities and just hearing their attorneys talk about, the different things that they're going to try to bring in to view, like what really caused this guy's death. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm looking at it, but as you know, we've been down this road before. I mean, Rodney King, they played that how many times? And we just was still under this same understanding that maybe the truth will come out. But I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Maybe we're at a different point in time now, but I think the ones before Rodney King said the same thing. So that's pretty much what I've been delving in for. It's kind of like assignment. It's work is school related, so I got to participate. It's grade related, but it's a tough one, especially when you're interacting with. It might be being an older student. Like I remember a lot of the stuff these young kids don't, and trying to explain to them and hear them. But what I can say is that they're a little more perceptive than the older ones, because these young kids are now, they kind of like got their hands on things, and they're knowledgeable about things, and they delving into things, and they want to know why. Like a lot of times they want to know why. They want to know why such and such is happening, why this is not changing, why. And I think we saw a lot of that.
I'll be right back, guys.
I think we saw a lot of that this summer So it's going to rehash some things. It's going to bring some things back up. But it brought me to that point of empathy. How can we get to this point where, like, I could put myself in your shoes? Not that I need to, like, be you. You know what I mean? But when are we going to get to this point of saying that, I may not understand. I think I did a post the other day and I was talking about, like, I don't need you to fix anything. I don't need someone to fix what I'm going through. I don't need anybody to try to really understand. But what you need is somebody to know that they care and that they support you. And if you can get that, like, I ain't never asked for 40 acres and a mule. That wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? But what it is that, don't try to, continue to put your foot on my neck while I'm trying to grow me and do me. So this just brought up a lot of conversations that are tough ones to have, but I think that's needed, man. I think that's needed. We're talking about the vulnerability. We're talking about just men. What drove him to do that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Why did he feel that was okay? And what is the systems in place that us is just speaking out, just talking about it? How can we make those kind of changes, man? So that's really what's a lot been going over my mind for the past few days, and up to this moment. But I just really want to open up conversation and dialogue. I'm starting to do that in the clubhouse. I'm starting to do that on here or posting about that vulnerability, because that's where it starts at. If we can get off of the premise of, I got to be tough. It don't even matter where you come from, where your neighborhoods are, where you grew up at, just mankind in general. We just got to get off of this. Man, I'm tough. I ain't going through that.
Well,
it's
what
okay.
I think for me is, I heard you mention several points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vulnerability, knowing where it begins. For most of us, it begins with ourselves and the experiences that most people have seen and went through in their life, to where some people feel like that's okay to do that because that's been the norm. And that's why I appreciate us having these conversations. What's up, man? I appreciate us having these conversations, because I think for me, it's very important to have these dialogues so we can come up with some solutions. Thank you, Tiffany. Come up with some solutions, right? Because I heard you say something in the past. That's all it seems like we're doing. We're just talking about it. All right.
Yes.
Getting it out there. We're changing the narrative. And that's something that I say, man. I feel great to be a part of these conversations because I can see it. I can feel it. We're not going to tackle all these problems overnight. But I can say, since I've became active and my brain has become, thoughtful of what's going on, I can see the changes just by us beginning to have these conversations.
Yeah, David, I think Michael was in the room. We were saying, I think the other day, and I think it was based upon race. And I was in the room also, and a lady had appointed. It was an interracial couple, and the lady was in there, and she was talking about how she has this anxiety about meeting her fiance's family, because I think Michael, you remember that, right? And And some of the things she said, was that yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was the human first conversation.
Yes. And she was just going in about how and I could just sound from how she was talking. She probably was actually like physically sick behind this, right? But what really got me and what really struck a nerve in me is that the fiance was putting it all on her, like, man, when my aunties get around you, it was sort of like a game to him, but I think it was real to her. And what I just mentioned was like that. What has to happen is that he has to take responsibility and be the shield and the shelter for her in order to go in there. Like he should be like, all right, don't worry about that. I'm gonna holler at my aunts. I'm gonna make it where it's comfortable because we're in this relationship. So while he pushed her out in front, and I'm thinking about that, and I'm going back to the valley that we have. You know what I mean? Like you said, where does that come from? Where do we get this at? And if we're not able to talk about that, and I made that mistake as well. I think I shared that in the room. I made that mistake as well, but I didn't see it like I see it now. And this is what makes these conversations so much viable, because we having people that want to have them, but we also have older ones that been wanting to have them for the longest. Now we can participate in that, and I can see some movement in that. And I think that's a big thing. That's a big thing going forward.
So, Carl, I be in these rooms too, right? And I heard you just say something. You said, I didn't see it before, but I see it now, right?
Yeah.
What's some things that got your attention for you to be able to see it?
I think some of the things that's really gotten my attention is the openness of people to say what they feel. And when I say that, it's always been that open to say negatively, what you feel, and, name calling and all kind of that. That's always been something that's been resorted to. But I think now what we're starting to feel and what the pandemic has kind of pushed is our ability to start actually articulating things how we feel, actually talking and listening to how other people feel. I was talking to and I got a few Asian people in my community, and I was talking to a couple of them, and I did a couple of Zooms, and I'm gonna put them out there for the ones I did, and I just wanted to get an understanding of how they felt. You know what I'm saying? And I had one of them like, now I kind of understand how you guys feel. And it took me a minute. Now the first thing, and in the audience, y'all listen to me, I understand how I'm saying this. My first thing and my first thought was like, you got to be kidding me. You can't. But then with all the conversations that's been going on and everything that I've been listening to and the perspectives, what I've been seeing, the empathy took over. Like, no, I understand what you mean by saying that. You can't see, you know what I mean? But I understand what you're trying to articulate to me. And before, I wasn't quick to like understand those things. You know what I mean? If you can understand me, I wasn't quick to I was quick to say something before I thought it through. And just thinking about that and having that conversation, and people are starting to point those things out, is really just opening up my listening ear instead of worry about saying what I need to say. I'm listening to what people are saying to me. And I think that's what's making the biggest difference. That's what I'm really seeing.
So I'm gonna take that a layer deeper for you, Carl. Okay. Somebody close to me taught me once that taking a pause before a reaction is important, right? And it doesn't matter how long the pause is. The pause is as long as it needs to be. With that being said, what you're doing now is you're going based off your intuition, your instinct, and you're intuitively reading their intent, right? Mm-hmm. Their intent is not that negative feeling. Right. Their intent is not to shame or compare, or what they're trying to do is be relatable. And I've got to tell you, right? I'm a white guy, so I'm a 41-year-old white male that was raised Roman Catholic, right? So I'm like that prototypical vanilla, really hard to create a stigma around type person, right? People can say I look intimidating. People can say, you look scary, whatever, right? I walk into a room, people stare at me, right? Because I command a presence when I walk in a room. Even if I'm hiding in the corner, it doesn't matter. But the reality is, I've been hated on for many different reasons, right? But I still can't tell you that I know what it's like to be black. I still can't tell you I know what it's like to be Asian. I still can't tell you that I know what it's like to be Jewish and practice the religion, right? Yeah. Because the reality is there's so much divisive nature in this country that any reason to hate somebody is going to come out because so many people are hurting, and hurt people, right? So what I'm learning to do is when the hurt starts coming out, it's usually an inward reflection. And rather than making a statement that can make it worse, I sit back and just observe. And hey, Bill Bradford.
What's up, Bill?
It's hard, right? Like taking that pause is difficult. It's never been easy for me. But what I also notice is as I'm learning to trust my intuition more, and as I'm learning not to question my intuition at all, and I'm pretty much 99.9% there, which probably a month ago I was 85% there, and a month before that I was probably 75, and 2 months before that I was probably more like around 60. as I'm stepping fully into this and fully embracing myself, I'm pausing a lot more. I'm pausing a whole lot more. And I'm saying a lot less these days because I'm just acting. And that's it. Like, it's all in my actions. I'm not making these grandiose statements anymore. My actions are speaking for themselves.
Yeah, I definitely, and I can agree with you on the countdown. And I think I put a post up not too long ago. The two pictures I took, one before the COVID and one after, and I really look. I skimmed through and I was looking for some pictures, and I really wanted to dramatize the difference in me. And I think I did that. And I mean, and I looked at that picture and I was like, wow, that was an angry dude. That was an angry guy. Like, I don't know if you guys just saw that picture, man, but I was like, I don't even know where my mind was at that point in time. And when I looked at it and I saw it, I was like, wow, just the difference in that. And sometimes when you see those things, it jumps out at you. And that jumped out at me. And I say, you know what? I'm going to share this because I want this and I want someone to see that and to realize that was all the posts and all the likes and all the comments you guys are making on the stuff that I write. This was him 365 days ago. This was him a year ago. And it's a big difference. And those things is what I'm really learning to do. Just take that pause. It's okay. It's okay to let it roll around in the top there before a comment is made. It's okay to, and that's what I saw when we had that conversation. We had that Zoom, and I was glad I talked to her. And I was like, wow. I was like, what you saying, I understand. I was like, and then it just shot off from there. We just talked about so many things. And you know what? When we peeled back the layers, it's the same as I was. She was going through a lot of the same things that I was. She was feeling a lot of the same ways that I was. And I was like, wow, how messed up could it have been if I'd have jumped the gun with the nonsense, really what it would have been took in from that.
I'm looking at the picture you talking about, Carl, and I'm like, wow, man. Listen,
Yo,
that's my first time seeing this. I'm like, man, that's night and day right. This is really night and day right here.
That was the Chicago Carl right there. Just like,
I'm glad to know that this Carl right here. I don't want to know this Chicago Carl.
Yeah, but Jaris, look at a picture of you from 6 months ago.
Oh, listen, I know me. I know I'm growing and evolving every single day, right? So I don't even have to look at my pictures because I just know. I just feel it, right? I can imagine mine from 6 months ago was probably way. I got the Chicago cap too, and I'm like,
man.
You know, Mike,
yeah.
too. I told you this last Thursday, man. I was like, Mike, man, we don't look at each other like that, but I'm like, dude, you look refreshed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you go back a year. I mean, like, I'm a completely different person. Like, it's night and day. I mean, just thinking about it, it's completely. It's amazing how these unfortunate circumstances and environmental situations, geographical circumstances, everything that a year ago I would have dreaded, complained about, and bitched about, has now become my savior, and it's become my healing oasis, which is my new term for where I'm at right now. It's been different. Like, I'm not even close to the same person. It's just a different world.
Yeah.
And Kenny, out of everyone on this screen, you have grown up the most because you are dropping F-bombs. You're cursing all over the place, Kenny. You're a different guy, Kenny. I think the state got. I don't know what's going on here. Like,
shout out, Kenny.
Always, Kenny. Hey, Michelle.
Yeah, it's a growth experience, and even just looking at the ones that I'm mentoring and the ones that I'm pouring into, it's such a better cup that's it's such a better picture, should I say, that's being poured now out of, because I can't just imagine what I really called myself doing before this time. And as far as dealing with people, as far as interacting with people, as far as mentoring people, coaching people, leading people, like, how was it I'm just looking back, like, how was it to be led by me, that person, and it's really, really an eye opener where you see it. And that's what I say. I've seen it grow, but I had to go back and I had to put some, like they say, put some drama to it. And that picture added some drama to the growth. But the real thing about it is that it's not drama. That was actual. That was actually me. So that was just actually me, and that's just how I felt. And like, I think from that picture, just kind of told you that I would tell you that too. Didn't have no problem with it, and it's a bad place to be in.
I want to get y'all's perspective on this, right? How, I mean, we were rewriting the narrative, right?
Absolutely.
How can we assist slowly? How can we assist others in doing what we're doing? Because I know it starts with us, right? How do we assist others? I mean, is it just putting out these conversations publicly? I know COVID has, shown us to come together more, but my thing, I'm more solution based, right? I can start with myself and say, all right, like you, Carl, this is where I was at. You can literally see the proof in the pudding. I can look at those pictures and say, okay, I see where this dude is at. Whatever he's doing, that's working for him, right? Yeah. But how do we, I heard you say slow, and I know we can't speed it up so much, but how do we, add a little to it, as I like to say?
I think we're doing it. We're on the course. We're on the path, and I think we have to continue on that journey. When I look back at everything that's going on and what we kind of touched on in the beginning of this conversation, with just something as simple as the race and how these changes are evolving, we're further along. Though a lot of people won't admit it because things are still happening, but we're further along the road than we were when my dad and granddad, was marching in Alabama. Now, bear in mind, some of those same things are happening, but the consciousness is what's evolving. And I think if we keep that along the path, if we have these open discussions and we talk about the thing, talking helps. It really does. And I think people don't really realize the importance of that. I know that we got the action, and I know we got, oh man, my man Kenneth, he going off tonight. I know we got the action.
What Kenneth's talking about. I ain't caught one comment yet.
Yeah, we got the action, and I know that Mike hit on a very, very positive, very most important thing. We've got to do with the action, but I'm also thinking about how King was when they told him to go against the nonviolent. He kept doing the nonviolent. So what we have to do is keep having these conversations. Though maybe if we start a room and it's only two, eventually we have to grow it. Eventually we have to pull those on who we want to see different, who we want to pour into. Once they see that, eventually the change is going to come. When I look at different ones that's been on this platform, and over the course of the year, my change happened in 365, based upon even just some of the things. It just happened with COVID. So that was rapid for me, saying that I'm 53. And how many years before that I was like this? You see what I'm saying? So if we put that in the same perspective in the things that we're doing, like Mike having these shows and you pushing a narrative and we pushing a narrative and we just bringing one along, that each one teach one, that's viable, because we can only do it once we've got it. We got to pull the next one, and we're hoping that next one grab the next one. And I think if we keep that kind of thing going and be consistent with it, and I think this is really what we're at. We're consistent. Like I could come on here maybe 12 in the morning, whatever. I spot something you posted. Now that I wouldn't doubt. He'll still be live and he'll still be trying to put one of the kids to bed.
Seriously.
Yeah. But I think we just have to be consistent.
We haven't worked out to a system. Sid puts me to bed now. Like, that's it. She tucks me in. She climbs up on me, gives me a hug, and then runs around the room. I went to bed early last night. I woke up at 11, and she's sitting there with my phone as a flashlight in my eyes. And I'm like, okay, like, seriously, like, you got to go to bed, kid. Like, this is ridiculous. People wonder why I'm so tired. Look, for me, what it comes down to is be the living example, right? Keep dropping seeds. People are going to take their own path and their own journey. And sometimes it hurts to watch. Sometimes it sucks to watch. But you've got to trust that they're going to find their own way, right? And you've got to have enough faith in the fact that they will find their way. It's very challenging. It is very challenging at times to watch those that you care about have to go through pain and go through their own circumstances, right? Nobody wants to sit back and watch that, but it's a huge part to their lessons, right? And you know, for me, it was going through the pain that I learned, right? It was the growth experiences. It was so how me taking that away, which I've tried to do so many times for so many people, all it's ever done is put me in a worse situation, and them too. You just gotta keep dropping the seeds, be the example, and be ready when the time's right. Make sure people realize they can come back to you.
I don't want to misquote you, but I was listening. I was on Facebook Live, and you and Reggie were talking, right? And you was like, you said something to the effect of, my energy is just the most important thing right now. Like, I'm in a space where I'm not letting nobody. Can you say that again? That way, I want the audience to hear it, but also that's something I can benefit from.
My energy is my most valuable asset. There is not enough fiscal currency in this world. There is nothing in this world that I will give my energy away for anymore. My energy is so valuable that I will not take action on things for instant gratification, because it is not worth it to me to give my energy away in return for that. It's just not. My energy is the most valuable commodity I own. It is my essence. It is my core. It is my foundation. There is nothing worth me giving that away for anymore. And I won't settle. I won't sacrifice, and I won't settle. I won't just give it away. It's just not worth it to me. And whether it's conversations that are useless, whether it's low vibe conversations, whether it's arguments, whether it's, you know, even arguing with my kids, like, I won't go there anymore. I just pause. I walk away, you know, and they just kind of look at me and they're like, where are you going? And I'm like, it's not worth having. I'm walking away. You know, I won't give my energy away for anything. It is not worth it to me.
So for somebody like me,
hang on, but one sec. Every action, every interaction, every reaction is an energy exchange. So if you're putting something into lower vibe, then what are you getting in return? Lower vibe. You can't be willing to sacrifice your high vibe for a lower vibe scenario. It is not worth it, because it immediately throws you off your center. When you're living in your sole purpose, it throws you off your center immediately, no matter what it is. You get pulled back into human decisions, humanness, human addictions, human loathing, whatever it is. It pulls you right back in instantly. It's done it to me many times. Like, and it's through evolution that I've learned from this. You know, it's through these experiences that I've learned from it. But what I've also done is not to judge, be critical or hypercritical of anybody else. What I've tried to do is, after the experience, go back and show them how to be acutely aware of it. Because awareness, not too tired yet today. Awareness and hyper acute awareness, and knowing your own triggers, knowing your own things that set you off, knowing your weaknesses on a human level, you can then adjust and not fall into them.
So me trying to process this information, because I tell you, Mike, I'm learning very quickly from you, right? Me processing it because you know more details on my personal situation, right? So I heard you say just stopping. Well, once I feel, you know, we all feel that. We all can feel ourselves. Once I feel it, just stop. And then from then on, I will learn what to do. Is that what you're telling, as far as I'm concerned?
One more time, I was reading comments.
They go, wow. I don't see
gotta love the
man. I gotta
love the honesty.
No, Kenny is on it, man. I don't know, man. He must have had some sugar.
Yeah. All right. So what were you saying, Jaris? As far as your current circumstance? Sorry, one more time.
As far as I'm concerned, right? Because see, Mike, you moving so quick, man. You know what I mean? Like I talked to you the other day, like you want something different. And not that I'm trying to keep up with you, but I know what you're doing is working for you. So as far as I'm concerned, right, you got to break mine down a little finer, you know, because you evolve, I evolve, but you go way super fast. For me, I heard you say, when I feel my energy being pulled or whatever, I just feel uncomfortable because I know myself. Just stop in that moment and just walk away.
Yeah, whatever it is, doesn't matter. The minute that I feel the vibe change and it go to a different direction, I just walk away. I pause, I walk away. It's just not worth it. I cut the engagement off immediately and I walk away from it for a period of time. It is not worth it to me. Because the minute I do that, I go off my center. And then I've got to try and fight to get back to my center. I'd rather not engage in any action that is lower vibe to me, right? Now, everybody has their own perspective of that. Everybody has their own version of that. So, yeah, I'm learning at hyper speed. Yes, I'm evolving hyper, like at a ridiculous rate. But I'm also hyper aware, acutely aware. I'm over analytical. And the first thing I'm analytical about is myself and how I interact and act. But it's also at times it seems like, you know, I'm being harsh on myself. But in reality, what I'm doing is I'm teaching myself at a rapid pace. I'm digesting my own actions and interactions at a rapid pace. You know, a few months ago, even, I would make the same mistakes over and over and over again. I don't make a mistake more than once or twice now because I've already moved on to the next issue, the next lesson. There's no stopping. I'm a freight train.
And that comes in with growing. And I just want to add to that with Jaris, it becomes that no matter how you digest the meal, everybody eats. So therein lies that however you take it in, or however you, if the food is on the plate, might just maybe finish eating first.
Always.
But the food is there, and I dig and I get what you're saying, because even when you look at it off the center, it's really not effective for you once you have come off the center. So I definitely feel what he's saying, because once the interaction is there and it takes your energy from your straight line, there's really no use of being getting involved in that, because you can't win, because you exert more to get it back, and you exert whatever it took with going on with whatever went on. So when you come back to it, and I mean, I definitely get it sort of like, you know, right in the illustration, when the train is off the track, if one of the carts derail off the train and the other one's still on there, it's a lot of work to keep those other carts on that same rail line. Just because I'm a visual guy. So you see the train in the back end is coming off. It's a lot more work to keep them other cars on there than for it all to come off. And that's the same way you have to look at it with what you're saying. When someone pulls you from that place, I always say, how far are you willing to go? That's why I get so. And then when I think about how far, because you don't know how far the next person is willing to go. You have no idea. You don't know where they're going to take it, and you don't know where this interaction is going to take it. But you have control. So how far are you willing to go when they get to that spot?
Let me add something to that real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it depends on the person, but I can go there and just not lower myself to that level, right? I can still be there for them without lowering my vibe to that level.
Absolutely.
A pause doesn't mean I'm walking away. A pause means I'm just reserving from feeding in. And honestly, 99% of the time, the other person doesn't even know they're doing it, because that is a reaction habit base that they've learned, right? And it's taken me a lot of breaking of habits and trains of thoughts and conditioning and triggers and all these things that most people never want to face in a lifetime. I've compacted it into a year, smashed it all together, broke myself into a billion pieces. And ever since then, I've just been putting myself back together like a puzzle. And I probably am still only about 75% there. But I got to tell you, when I get there, it's game on. Because this is just me warming up. Like, I'm just getting started. This is nothing. And I know that. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life on this path, right? Like, because this is what I'm meant to do. Down to my core, down to my soul-centered purpose, my definitive purpose for what I stand for and what I'm here for. I will live into my core values, step into it every single day, and be that person, and every day make a step forward. Or a million steps, whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's incremental either way. The number doesn't matter. It's all relative to where we're at. So Jaris, when you're talking about how do you do it, you're doing it already, man. You're being hyper aware. You're being aware of what's going on around you. You're removing yourself from certain situations. Maybe not as much as you want to yet, right? No. Honestly, right? Honest assessment.
Yes.
Maybe not as much as you want to, but you're getting closer. Every single day, every time we talk, you are engaging less and less in the chaos and putting your head down and moving forward. And you know what? That's the difference. That is the difference. You're living it instead of talking it. You're teaching by example. You're showing by being the action in motion.
Law of attraction.
Right now, y'all that's Carl. They stay schooling me. You do too, man.
Hey, it's what it is, man. It's a shared thing. I learned. You learn so much from everybody, man. I go back to my grandmother saying,
I always take the conversation deep. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. We can talk about cotton candy. We can talk about cotton candy.
Hey, that's how it has to go, man. It's because it's something. I see something in everything, regardless of whatever it is. It's something in there, and a lot of that, even me being a spiritual person, I see God in everything, regardless of whatever it is. If it's the bird singing, the bird out in soft flow overhead, or it's the chirping I hear in the mornings when I'm, putting the shades up, or any of those kind of things. So it's all learning, it's all grabbing, man. When we come across each other, it's we got to eat up the meat and spit out the bones. You know what I mean? Like I said, we gonna get what we need, and if you don't need it, spit it out. If you know it already, keep moving. If you don't know it, suck it in. This is good stuff, man. It's good stuff, man. You guys are geniuses, man. I don't know what y'all had me on here for.
I don't know about a genius, but I'm just me, right? Like that's a label. I don't want to label either direction, right? That's just I'm just happy to be. I accept me fully. I embrace me fully today, and whatever that means, I'm perfectly moved, and I'm happy with that. And
that's a good place to be, man. When you can be happy.
Good place to be.
Yeah, you can look in the mirror and be happy. You can look in the mirror and be happy. That's the right place to be, and that's. I think all of us have come to that point. Now, don't get me wrong. There's more work to do. There's always more work to do. I don't think you ever obtain that, but when you can look and be satisfied in the direction you're going in, and to satisfied with the progress that you're making, may it be one step today, maybe tomorrow you got to, just stand still, tread water, don't lose no ground. I mean, those are the things that make it worth the while, worth the battle, man.
But here's part of it. Here's part of it also, right, Jaris? Like where you're at, and granted, I know more about your personal situation than most, and you're on mute, Jaris. So if you're going to talk to me and respond, I'm not going to hear you anyway.
I'm sorry. So, my neighbor was sitting up yelling.
I'll just wait till you start talking and still just talk over you because nobody will hear you. He'll hear himself. He'll think that he's answering me, right? Like or us, right?
This is true. He will hear himself talking.
Here's what I'm going to tell you: the people in your life that bring you the most pain, the most chaos, the most torment, the most aggravation are the ones that mean the most to you.
Absolutely.
And it's not because they mean it. It's just because they're not where you're at yet. And it frustrates you. And I get it. I get it. But you know what? I also today have learned that I accept them exactly where they are. And I unconditionally love them for where they are. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm a different kind of crazy than most.
Yeah, this is true.
I will self-sacrifice to the end for the long-term vision of myself. I'm not sacrificing for anyone else. I mean, I'm not sitting here being a martyr for anyone else. I'm here so that I can be my best self for everyone else. And I'm sacrificing daily things that could be making my life a little easier, making my life a little bit more fun, a little bit more exciting, a little bit more living, right? Like, I'm sacrificing daily for a bigger picture that I'm working towards, because that's where I want. I don't want the little crap things that I can get today. I don't want the trinkets. I'm gonna get it all that I'm meant to get in this lifetime, so that I can be best of service to everyone else. Because that's what I'm here for.
And I can tell, Mike, when we first started having these conversations called Watch Me, right?
A week ago? Our first
No,
one?
man. I'm talking about like when we first started doing this, a week ago, it seemed like 100 years, man, how you just zooming. And I've been watching you and I'm just thoroughly impressed, because I'm like, man, 1 minute you talking to me this way, the next minute you breaking it all the way down. Like, the science behind it. And I'm so thankful and so appreciative of what's going on, because I get it. It makes sense to me. And I appreciate y'all. Excuse me 1 second, y'all.
It's amazing to see, and it's amazing to, and I guess that term amazing a lot of times get overused, but it's actually a joy to see when people get it. Yeah, it's a joy to see the light bulb, because you never see it, though it's happening to you. You never see the light bulb, but people that interact with you, people that deal with you, people that's in your circle, people that pour into you, people that give to you, they see the light bulb. And that's the amazing thing of it, because you can look at someone and you, especially when you're dealing with them, and I was just looking at you, Jaris, and I'm just saying, and I'm like, wow, this guy gets it. And you can see that he gets it. And it's just a joyful thing. And that makes what you do, so that, because it's someone that sees what you're doing, it's someone that sees the things that you're putting into play, they getting it. And they may not even come back and conversate with you. That's the amazing thing about dropping seeds. You could plant some seeds in Germany, and if somebody over there watering them seeds you planted is growing in Germany. So you don't even have to come back and see it. And the essence of it is the beauty of it. Is like Mike just watering where he's watering, where he's on like about 10 lives now. He's on TV more than Steve Harvey. So
You can say that again.
So he doing more lives than Steve Harvey is on TV. So when he's sprinkling all of them seeds all over the place, and people is picking that up, and people is understanding that, he don't have to hang around to see it. He don't have to hang around to see it. He don't even have to hang around for the harvest. He don't have to hang around for the tilling of the ground. None of those things. But what you just keep doing is just keep dropping, and that's what you're doing with your examples, with what you're getting, you're sharing, and you're vulnerable enough.
That's what we're doing, because you're doing it too, Carl. I can look. I know you're doing. Look at that picture night and day. I think you're doing it.
Yo, I said I need to put that up to share the screen, man. But
I wish we could. Everybody go to Carl's profile right now, so y'all can see the picture I'm talking about.
Yeah, man.
Huh?
Hey DJ, good evening. Yes, LinkedIn sucks about sending out notifications.
Yes.
YouTube is much better. That's why you should always go subscribe there. Me and my massive following of 49 people, because that's all I do is self-promote. You
got more than me, man. I think I got 12. So you're doing better than I.
Man, I'd never even talk about it anymore. Like I just don't shut up long enough to talk about any promotions. It's funny though, because I see Jaris's growth, right? I see yours, Carl, but I don't see my own. I know I feel different. I definitely feel different. Like, I don't doubt myself. I don't question myself. I get that blip at times where it's, and then it's like, you know what? Okay, I'm good. Keep going. But that's it, man. Like, I'm on hyperdrive. Like, I don't stop. I don't think about it. I don't give myself a moment to even question myself anymore. it's just full steam ahead right now, you know, and I'm juggling so many things, right? Like example, like, I mean, when was the first time we talked, Jaris? What was that? Back in October?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
And then I left you alone for a couple months, right?
Yeah.
Because you weren't ready to hear what I said.
It was before October, way before October, because I had an incident in October of why I did what I did.
Oh, I love you too, DJ. You didn't even mention my name. You just mentioned Carl Shawn and Jaris. What am I? I'm the white sheep. Anyway, anyway. No, but like, even like back then, like, there were times where I would talk to people and I'd reach out to see if they're okay. Like, I would slow myself down to check on other people. Sorry, Sid, I'm live. Anyway, what I realized, she's in the room laying in bed screaming for me. It's okay. But what I realized is all I did was hinder myself. You know, by me pausing, me taking those steps back, me always wanting to check on everybody else as I'm going through my evolution, it just held myself back. People come back when they're ready. I knew you would love that one, Tiffany. She's really screaming, like, guys, show. I'll be back eventually.
We can hear.
Yeah, we hear. She gonna get your attention, bro. That's for sure.
Let me ask you something, man. Like I say, that picture, man, that visual is really just doing something for me. I know he's laughing, he's joking, right?
Yeah.
But man, I don't know what was going on a year ago, right?
Yeah.
But just looking at the picture, they say a picture worth 1,000 words, right? I just want to commend you personally, man, on your growth, because I can see that. And I didn't even know you back then. Probably didn't want to know you, right? And
the thing about it is I can't even go back to that. I can't even go back to that place and even tell you why. Like that's the dumbfoundness of the things that we go through and the things that we let carry us off the track. Like that picture of me, like, why would, when I looked at that and I actually pulled it up on my phone, because I had like thought it was law, you know, it was so long ago, you know, I didn't even think, but I was just scrolling through and I found that the lady I saw just working on my website. She was like, I need some pictures like you or something. I said, let me go on my Google photos, because I know they save everything. And I said, let me scroll through here and get. And I started scrolling, man. And that picture was a scroll stopper, because like it's, you know, you scroll and then it stops. It ended at that picture. And I looked at that picture and it was scary to me. And it was scary in a way that what was going on? What was so going on? First of all, why would I even pose like that? Because, you know, I was like, I don't even remember what I was doing, but I was just in that's how gone the mind was. And I just posed like that and I took a selfie like that. Like, what was I going through so much up here that I really felt it was okay to actually take that picture sitting there looking like that? Now, to me, when I looked at it, a lot of things, I looked like I was on trial for murder. I was sitting up at the thing. I just off somebody and I'm just waiting, you know what I mean, see what this judge gonna say. I mean, just a lot of craziness when the hood came back from that picture. And I was so far removed from being that person. So I thought. But I looked at that, man, and it gave me a refresher. And I said, you know what? The first thing to do to this is to show the vulnerability in this. Because no, I could have not shown that. Nobody could have ever seen that. But I wanted that to be seen for a purpose, where someone can see that you can't come from here and be here. That there is a path, you know. I took it, but there is a path. It may not be the same one for you and I. Of course, the situations may be different, circumstances may be different, but it's the path that I've gotten from that point to this point is where I can share with you. And I said, that was the importance behind that picture. Wasn't about me worrying about how I looked, wasn't even worried about me what the comments said in it, but it was what I had to unleash. And this is where I'm dealing still with that vulnerability. This is where I have to tap into down here, let it out, let it work for me. Now, you could say, man, you put that up for a sympathy vote. I wasn't even thinking about none of that when I put it out. First thing I wanted to put out, I wanted to tell on me. So that was the reason I put it out. I want to say, yes, this Carl, you see post this and got these shows and the rah and Smiley and put up them lovely posts and write those articles. This was that dude. That dude. Same one. So I'm glad it did what it did, and I'm glad the purpose behind it was just for what it was, man.
Yeah. Looking back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because looking back on it, it was a lesson. It's a lesson. In that moment, I didn't learn a lesson, but I did once I saw it again. And that's the greatest thing about being able to have this opportunity to see the growth. Like Michael said, he touched on something that was real powerful. You never see it in you, but others observe it. And the purpose of it is for others to observe it. We're only supposed to feel the growth. We're only supposed to change. The growth is not visual to us. The growth manifests in us. So we supposed to be the change and feel the change and mindset change and how we act change. People are supposed to see that and know that they can change. So now I'm seeing Mike 7 months ago, how his picture was and how it was. And I'm looking at you looking at it, oh, that was Carl a year ago. Look at Carl now. So now we're the evidence of the change. Now there comes the belief that it can happen. There comes our credibility. That's our cred right there. That's the cred. When Mike talk about the things that he go into and the deepness of the, I put it like my man Kenneth do, the savor the flavor of the deepness in the conversation that he has. When he goes into those deep places, it's just really an unearthing of things that was always in him, but now he's able to share it. Now he's able to give it to someone where they can digest it and they can take stuff from it. They can take the nutrients and the minerals and those things out of it and feed themselves. And then he sees their growth, but their growth is all tied to him. Even the growth I've gotten, the growth you've gotten. You know what I'm saying? He's even gotten growth from us, though it may be in a flip scenario. You know, so
I get growth from every interaction, right? Like every interaction, there's some type of healing growth, trigger even, because triggers are a blessing. Because then I learn my pain points to learn even more. I mean, honestly, if I go back a month, I'm trying to remember what the exact weekend was. It was sometime last month. It might have been like the 20-something. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but it was a Saturday. It was one of the lowest days of my life, right? And then I go to March 9th of this year when the court hearing didn't go my way and I wanted to disappear, right? Because I set everything up. I had all my plans in place. I was ready to go. I was ready to move on with my life. I really thought I was ready, right? And I felt like everything went against me. And the reality is it didn't, but it felt like it. And I had that day of a breakdown. When I woke up the next morning, I haven't turned back. I'm ready. Like, that was it. That was my go. And the funny part is when I look at my videos from, let's say, a year ago, like I think it's March 3rd of last year. If you go back to that video, there was so much pain, so much brokenness, so much fear of everything that it was just like, I can't even imagine that person anymore. Like I can't even, my worst day today is nothing like the best days that I had then. Like, I mean, it's unbelievable a year, right? And I lived my first 41 like that. I mean, I can't even imagine that. Like, what a waste of my first 41. But at the same time, it was all the lessons I needed to get where I am today. Like, that was a learning experience, right? That was the evolution time to grow into where I'm headed. And I will never take that for granted. I won't take any mistake or have any regrets about anything I've done in the past, because that past is what makes me who I am and where I'm able to go from here. Those are the lessons I needed to learn to get where I'm at today. You know, I'm fortunate that, you know, my path has seemed to rise above some lessons and taken a little bit of a higher road in ways. But it's also all the work. Right? Like, I mean, it wasn't simple. I mean, I did a shit ton of work. And I still do work every single day. This isn't something that just ends. This isn't something that just goes away. You know, I mean, I do work every day. This is a process. This is something you've got to be dedicated to.
Yes.
When you step into yourself, you've got to be ready to lose your old self. You've got to lose your old habits, your old behaviors, a lot of old friends, a lot of people in your life that don't fit in your new self. Because I got to tell you, you're just going to keep getting tripped up on them. And it's all evolution. All evolution. It's all learning experiences. And everyone is strong enough to take this journey if they want it. Everyone is strong enough to push through.
You gotta want it. You say the key thing, and as I was just looking at the comments of what Kenny said, it wasn't a waste. And I oftentimes hear people, and I pretty much stop them in their tracks, especially ones of my age. And they oftentimes the first thing they want to say is, "I wish I could tell my 20-year-old self what my 40-year-old self know." I wouldn't. I stop you in your tracks. My 40-year-old, I don't want to tell my 20-year-old self what as a 40-year-old. What? Because I don't want to disturb that process that it took from there, because things happen along the way in the midst of those times that has made. And even though Michael said the 41 was a waste, it wasn't a waste because it was a journey. And that journey, why would I tell a 40-year-old to change and talk to the 20-year-old of myself to change my direction? My direction is what making me the 40-something. It's what brought me to the place I am. It's what I got. It's the journey I made. It's the mistakes I've made. It's the learning that I've made. It's the growth I've made. So why would I go back and change that? What would I change it to? Something that favors me? Then where's the joy? Where's the joy in learning? Where's the joy in growing? Where's the joy in making mistakes? Where's the joy is learning from those mistakes? So now that you can do things better, where does that come in at if you want to go back and tell that 20-year-old everything to do? So I think actually you probably killed the cycle from that 20-year-old to get to 40, because you're telling them everything to do. And I don't agree with that. I think all of our lives of life that you made up until this point, the circumstances that Michael made up to this point, and the things that I've done up to this point, they have cultivated and maturated who we are now. And now we're just adding on top of that. We're experiencing things that I don't think we would have been able to handle as that 20-year-old. I think it would have been wasted. It would have been wasted. The things you know now and the things you're doing now, it would have been wasted on that 20-year-old. But now you're at a point now where it benefits you. What you learn and you can digest. You can let it manifest. And man, it's a good feeling, man. It's a good feeling. A good feeling. This has been love, man.
Oh yeah, all love, man. I just sit back, man. I just sit back and grow and evolve. That's why I listen to y'all.
Oh man, I say, look, I got it on, man. I get on. It's a lot of things that I know, and it's a lot of things that I don't know. But one thing I have learned is to listen, man. And what that has really taught me, listening has educated me more than I've read, more than I can go out and obtain. Just hearing what people are saying, listening to what people are saying, taking in what people are saying, and then Michael here a lot of times, man, you just get into one of his ones. I try to put my reminders on. Some of them slip by me, man. LinkedIn is horrible. I'm about to get a letter writing campaign to them, man. We got to do some rehashing. There's a lot of things on here that they're behind in, but I think you catch it, man. You catch those ones like you caught, man, like we've caught. I won't just say you, but how we caught even with him. I tell people a lot of this. I'm being mentored by an attorney. This attorney is 42. Okay, I'm 51. He's been an attorney 15 years. So therefore, I haven't been an attorney none. So therefore, he's my mentor. You see how we just going back and forth with that. He's younger than me, but he's mentoring me in something that I want to be that he's already been. So we're carrying this relationship as I'm learning from him because I want to get where he's getting. Now he can learn from me because he haven't lived as long as I have. So like we're pouring into each other relationship wise. That's what I get from Michael. Michael's 41, I'm 53. But I get stuff from Mike that I don't know. It ain't there's I'm the age ain't got nothing to do with it. I get stuff from you that I don't know. Don't have nothing to do with my age in it. But what I do is I get what I need from you guys. I process that with what I know and how to use it. That's what benefits me, man. And it's real. Yes, absolutely. It's real. So the things that we gain from each other is what cultivates in us and makes us to be better who we are. And then it shows. Shows when you see Michael. Shows when you see what he does. It shows the effects he have on people. The connector. Man, he's put me with so many people that's just so profound in different things, and it just changed the way that I think about things. And that's just with him dropping a comment. You need to meet this guy, or you need to have a conversation with this one. And from there, the seeds is already planted, and that's part of the 41 years that he says a waste, because he wouldn't know how to do that if his 41-year-old would have told his 21-year-old, how to do that.
I don't like those questions because, again, I would never change a thing. There's not a single thing I would change. It's everything was exactly how it was meant to be, and I can't argue that.
Yeah.
It's Kenny's okay. He's a little dirty at times. He's got that little bitchy side to himself, but he's all right. Kenny's okay. We're gonna get Kenny on a live. I'm telling you, we're gonna get Kenny on a live one night. We got to do it when there's no tennis, though. We got to make sure it's a night with no tennis.
Oh yeah, you gotta get him on. I think that'd be a good thing.
Jaris, you have any closing things before we end?
No, I just really want to thank you, Carl, for joining us, Mike, and I just appreciate y'all for the conversation. And I say this every time, man. I'm in the learning phase right now. So this game, information, whatever you want to call it, this dialogue, it is working because you got somebody that's taking it in. So I'm telling both of you, I appreciate what y'all doing because I'm the proof in the pudding. I'm going to take this information, I'm going to process it, and I'm going to make this a change I want to see. So another great conversation in the books. I got to go try to find balance after this show because so much confusion going on in the background, but I'm gonna be okay.
The good thing is that you know how to deal with it, and you're taking those seeds and you're moving forward with it, and that's the progress, that's the process, and you're taking it all in, and that's a joy to see.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you, Carl, man.
Guys, have an amazing day.
All right, Mike.
You too, man. It's been my pleasure, man. Thank you guys. Anytime, man. Have a good night.
Comments.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man.